I am nothing if not persistent. I tend to stay clear of photo analysis as we're talking about a multi-million-dollar industry designed to transport imagination away from reality. But this photo, in particular, is worth some scrutiny. The photo has one of two outcomes. Either it's a hoax, or it isn't. Some aspects of this photo lead me to believe it's a hoax and should be dismissed. But still there are a few features that intrigue me to believe that there could be something else going on. I'll start at the beginning. Our story begins in Sweden, which is a country populated by Swedes. The summers are fairly short but lovely and the winters are fairly long and sometimes bitter cold with deep snow. It's a wild landscape that can be very unforgiving if you don't know what you're doing. Most of Sweden is still, and has always been sparsely populated. Neighbors are few and far in between. A day in the life usually consisted of getting up and working all day until the sun set. Just the Swede and the wild. No chatting with neighbors. Even if there were neighbors around, who would have had the time or the energy to talk to them? The Swede is a recluse. Which is important to know since to this day this remains rule number one in Sweden: don't be odd. It's more than an unwritten rule, it's in our genes now. The vast, deep, cold, quiet, unforgiving wilderness is in our souls. We have become like it. We don't tolerate weakness. This is why I think Bigfoot reports are rare from Sweden. They might very well be here as well, but who is going to say that they saw one? If a Swede saw a Bigfoot, you can be 99% sure he wouldn't talk about it. Even the modern-day Swede who never believed in trolls or giants, wouldn't say anything because it's so deeply rooted in his soul that one never subjects oneself to even the slightest risk of being ridiculed. Now on to the photo in question. The picture and report comes from Katrineholm, Sweden. It could possibly be of an actual Bigfoot, or as some locals call them, trolls. The witness who captured the picture preferred to be anonymous. She says, "I was walking along the illuminated track here in the woods with my MP3 earphones in, when I felt a presence. I snatched my headphones out and then heard a rustling and felt vibrations in the ground, similar to a moose bull walking. I walked further about 100 meters or so when I get this feeling that this thing is moving besides me. Just as I pass a small clearing in the forest, two deers are passing by, and when I'm taking a quick photo this bastard is caught on the picture. I'm all upset now, had to write about it. The picture was taken in the woods outside Katrineholm, east of the illuminated track. Usually I see deer during my walks with few exceptions. It is often the same group of deer, 3 smaller ones. So when I hear something moving in the bushes I'm prepared. So when I hear something moving along the bushes, I'm prepared for them, and make myself ready with the camera, waiting for the clearing and the terrain to come. This is where and when the picture is taken. I just registered something big and dark and with the same color as a moose, but I thought it looked very strange. As my first thoughts are moose or wild boar, I don't follow but move a bit to the left. From my new position, the 2 spruces, that the creature is moving in behind, has moved to the right visual field, so I can't follow the group on the other side, but I can hear them. I felt no anxiety at all at this point, as I've almost run and skied into moose at several occasions. It was first when I looked at the picture that shivers were sent down my spine." She also adds that the creature seemed heavy, very heavy. She describes it as a moose bull walking. This is the picture she took of the creature allegedly chasing deer. At first glance we see a creature who looks to be a bit hunched over, possibly because of it running or hunting. We clearly notice 2 legs and an upright body, which excludes bears, moose or other animals from that area. The size or height of the creature is not easy to tell, as the trees look like they're blocking out its head and shoulders. The creature looks wide and it has very dark hair. The woman, armed with a Nokia 6600i, sees running deer and prepares herself for whatever is chasing after them. She hears large walking and brush breaking louder than any animal she knows. She sees something and follows it a couple of steps until she stops and sees this terrifying bipedal creature running in stealth mode past some trees. The report originates from Katrineholm. It is one of the largest urban areas in the country. which is a red flag in itself. Would a creature as secretive as a Sasquatch inhabit this area and move across a popular running trail? I say it's unlikely. But who is to say that she is wrong? She prefers to remain anonymous, which takes away her gain if it would have been fake. Her reaction to the event seems genuine. And most of the alleged Bigfoot sightings from Sweden originate from that area. If we zoom in and adjust the lighting, we can find out more details. Now it looks as if the creature is carrying something in its right arm. What could this be? A rock? Possibly as a tool? Some primates have been known to use tools like rocks when hunting or for other things. One thing which stands out is the fact that at the bottom right leg there seems to be the cuff of a pant leg and a possible shoe. This could be explained by the lighting or the 5-megapixel camera she took this with, which can alter some details. The overall appearance of the figure seems like a loose-fitting suit, but this is inconclusive. Bears sometimes have fur which almost hangs off their body as they get bigger. Could this explain the figure's appearance? Another thing is the size of this creature. She never mentioned the size of it, but if we knew things like the size of the rock in the photo or the trees, then we could get a fairly accurate measurement. One of the most important things she mentions is the part about the deer. She states 2 deer run out, and we can actually sort of make out the deer behind the creature. It appears to be looking behind at the creature with ears up, meaning alertness and readiness to act. This adds credibility to her report. The figure acts like it's supposed to in the situation, meaning that instead of leaping towards the deer it is bent down stalking them and tries to keep from getting spotted. This is all relatively inconclusive, but the strongest evidence pointing to a real Bigfoot is the mechanics of its walk. A Bigfoot analyzer Thinker Thunker posted a video called 21 Degrees Between You and Bigfoot. In the video he explains that the average human walks with a 52-degree chin rise. This is true for almost all human on the planet, give or take an inch or two. He compares this to the famous Patterson-Gimlin footage from 1967 at Bluff Creek, which shows an adult Sasquatch crossing a river. The interesting thing about that creature is the way it walks. The legs are proportionally shorter than human legs, which means it needs to raise its chin more for every step. This results in an astounding 73-degree chin rise, which is 21 degrees more than a human usually walks. This can be replicated by a human being, but it ends up looking very awkward and not smooth at all, since we're not accustomed to walking like that. The figure in the Patterson-Gimlin film walks with absolute smoothness, and you can tell things like muscle contractions in its legs as each leg makes contact with the ground. The creature in the photo here seems to have a high chin rise too, which jumped out at me almost immediately. If we measure its chin rise with a right angle triangle, we can find the exact same angle as the creature in the Patterson-Gimlin film. 73 degrees. Obviously this could be replicated easier on a picture with a human being. But is it reasonable to think that the large person who hoaxed this was waiting for the right opportunity to walk out with a monkey suit and a rock right as someone is jogging by, while replicating the exact angle of the creature in the Patterson footage? Or could this simply be the site of a 1,000-year-old natural phenomenon of a Bigfoot hunting its prey? Now there are several red flags about this picture which can be seen. These anomalies could be explained by the fact that there was moisture that day or lighting, angles and skin. In conclusion, this report is interesting. It comes from a woman who has lived her entire life around the Swedish wilderness, encountering many animals which she does not fear. But this creature was beyond her scope of understanding, and so she fears it, and feels inclined to inform other people of what she saw. So is it real? I don't know, since we have too little to base our judgment on. But nevertheless, it is important to cover some of the lesser-known sightings, since it gives us a better insight into the similarities between the evidences, and allows more people to get the courage to come forward with their own experiences and sightings. Thank you for listening.